Good morning, everyone. This is a good day in Mesa. We are thankful that you all could be here today for this significant announcement. Let me introduce our speakers. First, our senior senator from Arizona, the Honorable John McCain, a good friend of Mesa. We also want to recognize the mayor of Mesa, Mayor John Giles. He's joined today with council members Chris Glover and Kevin Thompson. We'll hear later, but we want to recognize also Marine Corps veteran Larry Hutchison. We also want to welcome staff from Community Bridges. We appreciate they're here. We can see them in their shirts. The Arizona Coalition to End Homelessness is represented here, I believe. We also have representatives from the Veterans Administration Medical Center. We welcome them. And we have VA Post 1760 here with us today, so thank you very much. And all the other partners and organizations that are critical to this initiative. This morning, we're celebrating one of our success stories from the new Housing Mesa Heroes program designed to end homeless among our veterans here in Mesa. Mayor Giles announced the initiative earlier this year and introduced council members Chris Glover and Kevin Thompson as co-chairs. So at this time, I want to introduce council member Chris Glover to speak more to us. Council member.
Thank you, Mr. Brady. Today, we have made a real difference in a veteran's life, and we're very grateful for your service, so thank you. It's a very special feeling to know that we have been able to help you out. I'm excited because this is only one of the first of many more celebrations that we can have in the city of Mesa to help end veterans' homelessness. At the kickoff of the Housing Mesa Heroes initiative, I quoted a letter that I have in my office that I treasure because my grandmother received it from President Roosevelt during World War II in my grandfather's service, and she kept it for 70 years until she passed away. The letter read, "We who stay at home have our duties to perform, duties owed in many parts to you. You will be supported by the whole force and power of this nation. The victory you win will be a victory of all the people, common to them all." That same promise that President Roosevelt made so many years ago rings true today. And today the city of Mesa is reaffirming and rededicating ourselves to that same promise. Those who fought to protect our freedom abroad should never be left without a home when they return. And they fought for our freedoms, and now we will fight for their homes. At the beginning of this journey as a city, we promised to work with our community partners to provide the services needed to help and welcome our veterans home as heroes and to help them to continue contributing to our societies and our communities. Thanks to the collaborative efforts of the City of Mesa staff and countless community partners, and a special shout out to my friends at Community Bridges, Dr. Frank Scarpati and Vicki Helland, and to Arlen Wessling at Paz de Cristo for the work that they do with the veterans community. This has been a great way to engage our homeless veteran population and to get them re-engaged in our communities. Having former and current members of my family serving in the armed forces, this is something near and dear to my heart. I can honestly say that this is some of the most intrinsically rewarding work of my personal and professional career. It's been an honor and privilege to work with my colleague and friend, Councilmember Kevin Thompson, and our community partners on this very worthwhile endeavor. Now it's my great distinct honor and privilege to introduce a man who is a true American hero. He and generations of his family have dedicated their lives to serving our nation. He was an officer in the United States Navy for 23 years, fighting in the Vietnam War. He represented the great state of Arizona for 34 years, as a member of the House of Representatives, and now as a senior senator from Arizona. He's here today because he's as passionate about this issue and ending veterans' homelessness as we all are in this room. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the United States Senator from Arizona, the Honorable John McCain.
Well, thank you very much, Chris, and thank you for the reading portion of that letter from President Franklin Delano Roosevelt and concerning particularly the service of Chris's grandfather. So And Kevin Thompson, I want to thank you for your work and service as a veteran, and we honor you as well as all other veterans that continue their public service following their military service. And Mayor Giles, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your outstanding work. You have made Mesa a city that is in the envy of the nation. Your efforts in Housing Mesa's Heroes program and your leadership is vital, and it wouldn't have happened without you. And I thank you, Mayor, for all of your outstanding leadership. And of course, our community bridges people are those who are sitting here in front of me who every day, every single hour of every day, are working on behalf of our veterans, and I thank you for it. And on behalf of my generation of veterans especially, because as you know, our Vietnam veterans were not welcomed home. I'm so proud and grateful that today we do honor and welcome our veterans home. But one of the reasons why perhaps you could argue that many of our Vietnam veterans had more difficulties perhaps than other generations of veterans is that they were not welcomed home. And now, thanks to you, we are making up for that unhappy portion, I think, of our history, and I'm very grateful to you, and I cannot thank you enough. So could we thank our and of course, our veteran service organizations. Thank you all for your continued effort and your continued your advice and counsel and work with our office as we address cases of veterans who come to our office is vital. We couldn't do it without you. We've had already 1,500 cases of veterans that needed help come to our office just this year. We have literally helped thousands of veterans, and we work hand in glove with the veteran service organizations. So I thank you for your all continued work. This is an important and vital effort. No veteran should be without a place to sleep. We all know that. And I thank you. I thank you for what you're doing. And I'd just like to mention two other aspects of our challenge with veterans today. One, of course, is, as we all know, the VA scandal that took place where 50 veterans died allegedly without receiving help. And we did pass a VA reform bill through the United States Senate that I worked with then Senator Sanders, who was chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee at that time. Part of that legislation is the choice card, so that any veteran that is more than 40 miles or has to wait a certain period of time, then that veteran can take a card that he or she can take to any healthcare provider. I hope I can get your support in making that permanent and apply to any veteran, no matter where that veteran resides. And because the VA has a long way to go. I think we all know that. And it's been a great disappointment to me that only one person has been fired as a result of the scandal that continues. And when I say the scandal continues, there's a hospital, a VA hospital that is being constructed in Denver that has a $1.7 billion cost overrun, and it's about 30% done. What could we do for our veterans with $1.7 billion that has just been wasted? And the other issue I want to mention to you very quickly, and I know that you face this challenge every day, and that is this issue of veteran suicide. Today, 8,000 veterans a year commit suicide. That's an unacceptable number, obviously. We passed through the Senate and the House the Clay Hunt Suicide Prevention Act, and that legislation is supposed to provide counseling, treatment, pre-counseling to try to anticipate some of these problems. And I believe it was named after a young former Marine who committed suicide, as you know. And it was mainly the impetus of his parents. So you are seeing that. You are seeing that all the time. And I would argue that a veteran without a home is probably more likely to succumb to that option than one who is with a home. So, Mayor, I want to thank you for what Mesa is doing. And I would argue that if we're going to really be able to attack this issue of veterans suicide, it's going to be at least to start with to give them a place to sleep and to live. So I cannot thank you enough. I'm very grateful, and I'm very, very proud of the city of Mesa and the initiative and the hard work and the priority they're giving our veterans. Thank you.
So we're here as an exciting time and to begin to realize this opportunity to provide for those who have served our country well. So this time, Larry, we're going to invite you to come forward and share a few words, if you would, and join him. And we want to welcome Larry. Larry has been living in Mesa since about 1978 or so. So we're excited to maybe find a permanent place for him to live in Mesa. So Larry, come forward.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank God for everything that he had done for me. I spent 30 years on the streets of drugs and alcohol and trying to get rid of memories that I had. But finally, God took care of that issue for me. And also, I'd like to thank all the help that I have received out there. It's just been fantastic. For me, myself, I like to express to the vets that's still using and still with the drugs, it's just too many of them. I even seen them as of today, how much they use, and it's very frightful and sick. It is a disease. It's not a criminal offense. It is a disease, and a big disease. But I look at it like this. See, life to me, the way I came out of it, is life to me is like a clock. Because if it goes backwards and then we remain into the past, we'll never handle the future, which is counterclockwise. And clockwise is the way we need to go. That's all I got to say for the vets. And thanks again, everyone. Everyone, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Larry. That's important to us, and we appreciate those words. Our next speaker is also a military veteran who is our newest council member and co-chair of the Housing Mesa Heroes initiative. Please welcome Councilmember Kevin Thompson.
Thank you, Chris. And thank you all for being here today. And Larry, thank you for being here with us and for all you've done for our country as well. And we're glad that we can give back. Mayor, thank you for taking on this initiative to begin with. We were standing out on the City Plaza or over by the Mesa Arts Center back in March when we announced that we were taking this, going down this road. We had an end goal in mind. We didn't, we had the A and we had the Z. What we didn't have is in the middle. And, Councilmember Glover and I worked together and kind of developed some goals and went to Natalie and said, Natalie, how do we get there? And luckily we have people like Natalie that isn't afraid to take the reins and run with it. And we really wanted to involve our community partners because we want this to be something that's sustainable way beyond my time in office. We want this to continue for years and years and years to come. It's a great thing that we're doing to help our veterans, and it's very near and dear to my heart as a veteran. I'm just glad that I can take part, and Larry, thank you. Larry, when I met Larry a little bit ago before, he said, thank you for choosing me. And I said, Larry, we didn't choose you. You're a veteran. You earned this. You deserve this. You weren't chosen. So Larry, thank you again for your service.
Thank you, Councilmember. I do want to recognize we have a group here, the Veterans, help me out.
Disabled American Veterans.
Disabled American Veterans. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. We appreciate that. All right, our final speaker got this whole initiative rolling. The Housing Mesa Heroes program started earlier this year when Mayor Giles accepted the challenge, the mayor's challenge to end veterans homelessness. So please welcome the Mayor of Mesa, Honorable John Giles.
Thank you, Mr. Brady. You know, I first became aware of this program shortly after being elected, and I wondered if it was a good fit for our community, because this is a White House program. This isn't a program that was announced by Michelle Obama, and it had some political strings attached to it, and I thought, well, how is that going to play in conservative Mesa, Arizona? Is this something that is a fit for our community? And it took me about a second to realize that nothing could be a better fit for our community. Mesa has a rich history of being compassionate and caring for those who are in need. Many of the best and biggest social service agencies that you see in the state of Arizona got their start in Mesa. We also are a community that has a great deal of respect and admiration for our veterans. So this was obvious to me that this was something that would have a lot of traction and resonance in Mesa, Arizona. So that was not a difficult decision at all. It's important to me to pay some respect to Senator McCain today. 30 years ago, this summer, I was a first-year law student at ASU, and I got what I thought was a great summer internship working for Congressman John McCain, doing constituent service work at his office, literally across the parking lot here over on Centennial Way. I spent that entire summer, I think, working on veterans issues. And that is a testament to Senator McCain. He brings a passion to this issue that is without peer in the Congress. So I think that planted a seed in me, Senator. That's the best thing that we can do as public servants, is pay respect to those who deserve it so much. So thank you for all that you've done. We knew that this challenge would be significant, and for that reason, we elevated it to the highest possible level that we could in our city government, and that's why I really appreciate Council Members Glover and Thompson taking the lead on this. I think that demonstrates that this is not a one-and-done approach to this. We understand that for this to be successful and for it to be meaningful, this needs to be a sustainable, going forward from here after, part of Mesa City government, and this has got to remain at the highest priority levels of Mesa City government. So I hope that's evident in the resources and in our commitment to this. And it's not just Mesa City government, obviously. This is our community partners that are so involved in this. Thank you. I think we also probably ought to point out that Phoenix has been doing this for a few years, and we were able to take advantage of a lot of work that had been done in the city of Phoenix in this regard. And I see a lot of the folks that are here today with us are veterans of getting this program up and running in Phoenix. So we owe them a debt of gratitude. Mr. Hutchison was identified at Paz de Cristo, and I had the privilege of going to Paz a month or so ago and being with Arlen. And as the folks filed through to get their plates, Arlen instructed me, you ask every single person that walks through here if they're a veteran. And if they are, you send them over to me at this table, and we're screening them for this program. So that, Arlen, thank you for being such a big part of this. Mr. Hutchison is our first success story, but obviously this is just the beginning. We hope that he is one of many, many people that we were able to help and to continue to help. Our help and admiration for Mr. Hutchison can't end today, or this will not be a successful program. But thank you for all that you've done.